Well, here's another day. We just been told of two brand new studio closures today from Sony Interactive Entertainment. Let's talk about it. Well, it turns out it reported it has reported today that Sony Interactive Entertainment plans to close two of their studios. One is Neon Koi, and the second one is FireWalk Studios, the maker of Concord. A lot of people are kind of surprised about this. Personally speaking, I'm not entirely surprised about this. The studio, this would be their very first AAA game, Concord, and it failed miserably, unfortunately. Now, I've never played this game, but it only lasted in the market for 2 weeks, almost a full 2 weeks. It debuted August the 23rd, and Sony decided to cancel this game and shut the game down, all the servers down, on September the 6th. They only gave players roughly 2 whole weeks to even try this game, to really sink their teeth into it, and then they decided to shut down the servers for it, and no one's able to play the game anymore. If you bought this game physically, the game is no good. You can't even play the game locally. There's no single player campaign for this game, and there's no playing the game locally between machines, hardwired machines. So yeah, with that game servers being gone, the game is no good. And anyone that has a physical disc of the game, unless you're a collector and like to have the fact that you're collecting a game that has died and you can't play it anymore, everyone's physical copy of the game is basically a coaster. Nothing you can do about this now. So Sony announced today that they are officially closing the development studio for FireWalk. Now, I'm sure this is going to upset some people out there. I can't say I'm too surprised that this is going to happen. They did say they were going to do some restructuring. They're also doing the same for Bungie. But this game, unfortunately, with this game's budget, rumored to be as high as over $400 million to have produced this game, and it failed that quickly, yeah, there was bound to have some heads rolling for this. Unfortunately, this falls down on the developers, and it's not their fault. I'm pretty sure they were just told what to do, and they were just doing their job the best that they can. They've worked on this game for, it's been noted this game's been worked on for over 8 years. That's a very long time. It's been worked on ever since around the launch inception of Overwatch. So when that game came out and it got highly successful, FireWalk Studios, before they even bought, they decided to go ahead and chase after this dream as well, and it failed. Unfortunately, it failed. It takes a lot of ingenuity and popularity. It really, right now, it's becoming a popularity contest for a game to basically take off, especially within this same genre, which is looter shooter. It's a hero looter shooter, and it's also a live service game. So for these types of games to be highly successful, you're really going to have to stand out. I think it also plays into the part that this game was a $40 release. It was not a free-to-play game. And with games like Overwatch 2, which is free-to-play, and numerous other games in this field, this genre, really making a name for himself and carving its own path, this game came out with the notion of charging all the players $40 on release, and it failed hard. It failed faster than we expected it to. I can understand if a game is going to be out for a while, for like a half a year to a year, and the audience just drizzles over time. It just fizzles, and there's just no one playing the game over a long period of time. But just right out of the gate, no one cared to play this game. It's estimated that the sales were somewhere around 25,000 buyers between both Steam players and console players. And it was only on the PS5. It debuted only on the PS5 and Steam at the same time. They both released on the same day, and only accumulated 25,000, an average of 25,000 buyers. Which, when you mention just a hard number like that, that usually means that's a round up number. So it was probably a little bit less. It was probably, the real numbers is probably hovering around 23 or 24,000, just shy of 25,000, and they just rounded up. So in reality, it's less than 25,000 buyers for this game, let alone the player. The player count was anemic when it came out. It first had a beta, a closed beta, and then they decided to have an open beta when the numbers were just way too low. So they opened it up to be an open beta, and the numbers did not improve all that much either. It was still very low. So in came the game's release, and it was less than 600 players that played the game. That is sad. That is truly sad for a game that's been worked on for over 8 years. And those devs no doubtly put their heart and soul into this game. And it died. So pour one out for Concord, and now pour one out for the team. I really hope that all that talent happens to get other opportunities, whether they want to stay in the industry anymore or not, because it is very volatile right now. Landing a position in the gaming industry seems a bit risky if you haven't already been in the industry for well over 5 to 10 years. Even veterans are actually being laid off too. So they're not entirely in the clear, but it just seems that if your product isn't just hitting the road right from the get-go, you are in trouble for, well, your game is in trouble for one, and then your studio, your job is on the line for two. If you don't happen, it's come to this. Unfortunately, it's noticeably happening now, because in the past there would just be major layoffs, but now it just seems that if your game's not successful right from the get-go, right from the start, your studio could close within the next 30 to 60 days. It could actually close. And this is an example of what was happening. FireWalk. Unfortunately, this is happening. It's really sad. I hope each and every one of those devs and the team members lands on their feet and they offer a different position, either within Sony, at another dev studio, or if they just happen to venture off and decide to do their own thing. Wherever life happens to take them, I really wish them all the best and good luck on your future endeavors, because this shouldn't have happened. This game should have been a success. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But should have, would have, could have. To be honest, the player base, the actual fanboys did not step up. They didn't buy this game. This was actually on them. The studio closed because no one decided to actually give this game a fair shot. It might have been a fun game to play if you guys would just look past the cosmetics of this game. I know a lot of the issues with this game was not its gameplay. It wasn't the core mechanics of the game. It was just no one liked the way the characters looked. And honestly, who cares? These are just characters. But if you want to associate yourself with a persona, a video game persona, and you didn't like the way this looked, obviously you're not going to buy the game. And that's exactly what happened. No one liked these characters, and they just didn't like the game enough to give it a shot. Whether they rented it or not is irrelevant. They weren't there for this game's longevity, and it failed. It simply failed. So it's unfortunate. I wish all the team members the best. I really hope that they can recover from this quickly. And if there's a lesson to be learned, it is just, well, maybe you should be making games. Maybe you should be making safe bet games for 1 or 2 games, and then make your passion project, and then get back to games that actually make money. Now, they did make this game in theory, should have made money because it's a live service game, and that seems to be what's making all the money right now is live service games. A lot of it is mobile, and then you also have your Fortnites, and you have your Call of Duties, and you have your Apex Legends. Those games, live service. Oh, and how can we forget? We have your GTAs, your Grand Theft Autos. Those are all live service, along with sports games. And they're designed for you to never turn them off. They're designed for you to never move on from these games. They want to continuously drop brand new content after brand new content just to keep you engaged and so you never leave this game. And unfortunately, Concord did not live up to that expectation. So I wish them all the best. Sony, I hope you learned something from this ordeal and that you will greenlight games that will hit the market in a much better way. And I also want to point the blame at you too, Sony, for not advertising this game the way you should have. Clearly, there wasn't enough advertising for this game, and not just for the hardcore. The casuals did not know about Concord at all. There was basically almost no type of advertisement campaign outside of social media and word of mouth. It's not good for your game. It's not good for a brand new IP, because a brand new IP needs to be front and center on as many screens, in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And I know for a fact that you failed on that. So I hope you've learned a valuable lesson about your IPs going forward. Every game should be cared for with kid gloves. Every game that you make, whether it's a remake or a brand new IP, everyone should have decent exposure so that you can maximize on your profits. And unfortunately, this game was just sent out to die. So I wish you all the best. I hope everyone that has played the game and liked the game can move on from this with little heartache in their heart for this. Just pray for that team and that the members that are affected will be able to land on their feet as soon as possible. And with that being said, this is Musical Weapon. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you again.